I'm Chloe,
And I'm Skye.
and on this episode of the Geography Exchange Teachers Talk Sustainability, we discuss what sustainability consciousness means and why does it matter, drawing connections to the Ontario Geography curriculum and eco-pedagogies that foster awareness, inquiry, storytelling, and community engagement. Through the lens of place-based learning, we highlight how connecting students to their local environments transforms classrooms into spaces of reflection, action, and care, helping every student see that every place, including their own, is part of a larger living system worthy of protection.
Yeah, so thanks for that introduction, Chloe. So that brings us to the big question. What is sustainability consciousness? Well, according to Olson and Garrick, sustainability consciousness is a combination of knowledge, attitudes, and behaviors that support sustainable living. In other words, it's not just knowing about sustainability, it's also about caring about it and acting on it. And so, our goal as geography teachers, as Stickney puts it, is to open diverse students to the wonder and sanctity of nature and to engage learners in the kind of deliberative, argumentative, and communicative skill development that will prepare young people to face environmental problems bequeathed to them by previous generations. And whether you're teaching grade 9 or grade 12 geography, there's always space in the curriculum to elevate your students' sustainability consciousness. For example, in the grade 9 curriculum, the C1 expectation asks students to analyze the impacts of resource policy, management, and consumer choices on resource sustainability in Canada. These lessons can help create a new generation of more conscious, sustainable shoppers. As geography teachers, I like to think this is a critical outcome of our work. Years later, students may not remember all the specific content created connected to the C1 expectation, but they might pause and choose locally grown products. And to me, that's a win.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't remember the layers of a glacier, for example, from my grade 9 geography experience. Um, but I believe that class really shaped my everyday practice as Skye. I remember going on a grade 9 trip to a clothing sorting facility downtown, and being surrounded by mountains and mountains of clothes really shaped who I am as a shopper and trying to shop sustainably.
Yeah, for sure, Chloe. So going back to Stickney 2025, he reminds us that there exists many ways we can raise this consciousness. It can be done through eco-pedagogies, so think inquiry-based, arts-based, and place-based learning. When we teach the relationships with the environment, students get the chance to explore and create with their environment, meaning they can better connect emotionally and intellectually with it, allowing students to move beyond the content to critical consciousness. Also, research by Maharjan, Penn, and DeHall further highlight that when we integrate local knowledge systems and community traditions, we are practicing a form of eco-pedagogy that reconnects learners to sustainable ancestral practices. At this point, eco-pedagogy becomes transformative. It moves students from awareness to action, from seeing themselves as observers of nature to understanding themselves as active participants in ecological communities.
Geography is the study of place at the end of the day and how people interact with their environments. As Hutcherson 2007 points out, effective geography education starts with the familiar contexts, like students' homes and neighborhoods, turning abstract concepts into lived experiences. The reading Defending Place-Based Education supports this approach, showing that community-connected learning enhances academic success and fosters social awareness and environmental ethics. The EIC, or Environment as an Integrated Context model, reveals that students tackling real local issues perform better on standardized tests and show increased cooperation and care for the environment. Place-based pedagogy integrates learning with local experts, urging teachers to move beyond textbooks to engage students with the geography that's all around them. This model not only encourages critical thinking and sustainability consciousness, but also instills a sense of connected responsibility in our students. Moreover, place-based learning connects local environments to global issues. Authors highlight that awareness of local choices, such as waste management or recycling, ties to broader sustainability concerns like pollution. By grounding education in local context, students can relate global concepts to their personal experiences, making sustainable education meaningful and impactful. Thus, geography classrooms become platforms for local learning that inspires global responsibility.
This all sounds amazing, but it's not always easy to implement sustainability consciousness. Let's speak on the challenges now. So, some of these points I have recently read in Stickney's article, Transformative Teacher Education for Environmental Sustainability, and others I drew based on teacher experiences. And so, number one, of course, a classic, student safety and parental consent. Bringing students outside the classroom often raises concerns about supervision, risk management, and permission, meaning it's not always going to be easy. It takes a lot of planning beforehand. There's also the factor of emotional readiness. Sometimes topics can be heavy, leaving feelings of hopelessness among students. So we need to ensure they're age appropriate and that we balance realism with optimism and action. Another challenge can be time and curriculum pressure. Adding fieldwork or inquiry projects can seem overwhelming alongside expectations, assessment, and other deadlines for students. And last but not least, equity issues. Depending on where the school is located, they might have limited access to safe outdoor spaces, the right technology, the knowledge, and even transportation. However, there are pathways forward. We can start small, for example, taking on local projects. This is very effective as it can make sustainability real and relevant as they are familiar with the community. It can also be useful to document the learning outcomes from the fieldwork, as it can be evidence of real learning that is relevant to the curriculum, not just for fun or extra work.
Those are some really fantastic points. Thanks, Skye. Ferreira and other authors in the 2019 publication emphasize that effective, sustainable education requires teachers to engage in professional learning that connect those curriculum goals you talked about earlier with place-based approaches. This means educators must not only understand sustainability concepts, but also be able to embed them through experience place-based pedagogy. Such professional growth extends beyond knowledge to include emotional resistance, ecological literacy, and the courage to teach outside the classroom walls, transforming teaching practices and school culture towards sustainability. Check out an amazing professional development course in the description below for all the listeners. This National e-course in Climate Change Education is a professional learning opportunity that I had and I completed. This free Canada-wide program brought together grade 6 through 12 teachers to explore how climate change education can be woven into every subject area. The website linked also has some amazing resources.
Well, what are ways teachers can implement place-based learning? Well, here are 6 strategies. 1. Begin locally. Map routes to school, explore parks, or run waste audits to connect geography to daily life. Number 2. Invite community experts such as farmers or Indigenous knowledge keepers to guide inquiry projects.
Even getting to know your parent community in your class can help. Last year, I had the opportunity to have in a parent from the urban planning department at the city of Toronto who talked about affordable housing with the students. And another student's cousin came in and was an activist who was protesting the removal of bike lanes in the city.
That's a great idea. Number 3, integrate art, storytelling, or photo essays to deepen connection and reflection. Number 4, use journals or digital tools to document evolving relationships with place. Number 5, leverage virtual field trips or mapping apps when outdoor access is limited. And number 6, engage students in solving a local issue and link their work to global sustainability goals.
All right, amazing. On behalf of Skye and myself, we would like to thank all of our listeners today for tuning in, and be sure to check out next Friday as we drop another episode of the Sustainability Podcast. Thank you.